Hello, hello, hello. This is Bussy Queen.
And I'm Bridget Bandit.
Bridget is our guest joining us this week for the bus stop. And as you can also see, our third guest here, our new neon sign, the bus stop sign.
Wow.
Beep, beep. So, Bridget, welcome here.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course, you're looking absolutely stunning. I genuinely don't think I've seen a more precise and perfect mug in person.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
And this is consistent, when I've seen you out at clubs performing and stuff. Even after the number, I mean, it's just perfectly polished lines, blending, amazing. How do you do it?
I just smoke a little get really into the details. My setting spray burns a little bit, but it keeps everything exactly where it needs to be. That's it.
Wow. So maybe it's the part that I'm missing.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely helps. I was late today because I get too into it and making sure everything's blended and perfect and going back. And then I'm like, oh shit, what time is it? But it's fun. I like it.
Who is Bridget in drag?
Bridget is kind of okay, no, Bridget's a big tittied, fun, loving, just here to have a good time and party bitch, So I just do a lot of silly, goofy stuff. Sometimes I do a little bit more serious, whatever. You never really know. It kind of depends on where I'm at in my cycle. Yeah, you never really know what to expect from Bridget other than it's going to be a good time. So yeah, I definitely want it to be if you come to a Bridget show, it's going to be escape from real life and reality. And maybe we do talk about some things that are hitting home for people right now, but at the end of the day, you go to have fun and just get away from all the fucking bullshit of life for a second.
Let me ask you, where are you performing right now and how much? Because I feel like every time I have gone out to the clubs to catch a drag show or just to go out and happen to see a drag show there as the first part of the night, you're there.
Yeah.
You're everywhere.
Yes.
Oil Can Carries, Cheer Up Charlie's,
yes.
the Elysium gigs, all of girl.
Yes.
You're busy.
Yes. I do drag full time and I'm a performer full time. So I'm just constantly performing. I have 3 different weekly gigs. Fridays at Oil Can Harry's, Saturdays at Coconut Club for Coco.
That's
our
right.
drag brunch. We have a show Sundays at Cheer Up Charlie's that we are currently reworking right now, and we have the name, but I can't say what it is yet.
Ooh, it's tough.
But it will, yeah, but that will be coming back mid-November, so I'm really excited for that. And then you can catch me at Extragrams too.
Okay, so what is Extragrams?
Okay, Extragrams is a drag delivery service that we have in Austin, and it started over the pandemic, so it was a way to still send your family member or friend a kind of a singing telegram, but make it extra because it's a drag queen. So I basically go with somebody else and she knocks on the door and...
Are they in drag too?
No, she's she just has the speaker and she's hi, so-and-so, and we're here to bring you something. And then I'm hiding behind a car or a tree or something, just watching it happen, waiting for my cue. And then she cues up the song and I go and I perform in front of the house, in front of businesses.
And is the person working with you, are they holding the boombox like this? Like an 80s movie?
Oh my God, no, that would be
window?
Amazing though.
Okay.
She just has it on her, no, she doesn't do that because it's a heavy fucking speaker. So she's lugging it around. And
are you in the grass,
awkward.
in people's front yard?
Yes, I perform. The grass and gravel.
Are they ever just come inside? We'll do it inside.
Well, whenever they started, we wouldn't do them inside because of safety precautions, especially at the height of COVID. But now we can do it inside. Thank God, because it got so hot. Eventually, over the summer, we would only do it inside because it was too hot to perform outside. Yeah.
That's my greatest fear is just being too hot in drag, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
I hate sweating. You go outside and just jump in their pool afterwards.
Yeah,
if they have one in the back.
Yeah. No, the queens have jumped in pools before. I don't think I've jumped in one of the pools yet. Because normally I'm doing Dolly, and Dolly's not, she doesn't jump into pools. Could you imagine?
So who started this company?
This woman named Carrie Lynn. Okay. Yeah, and so she just reached out to me on Instagram, and she started it originally as any kind of entertainment. She had, I don't know, fire spinners and jugglers and other kind of stuff, but people only book the drag queens. So now it's drag queen entertainment. And she was the one who ran the show at ACL.
This is really, really cool. So it sounds like it's basically Cameo, but real life.
Yeah. You can like order it for whatever you want.
And did they request like a specific song for you to perform?
Yeah,
or?
They can request a song or like a vibe. I get a lot of requests. Like I do a lot of impersonation work. So I do like Dolly Parton and Cher. I've done, oh God, who else have I done? I did Reba one time. That was fun. Cyndi Lauper. So.
Have you ever had an awkward situation doing one? Like,
oh, yes. Yeah.
Would you want to share?
That was so awkward. Okay, one time we went to it was a school administration building.
Okay.
And so they're all having their meetings, and I'm supposed to surprise this man for like their anniversary by his wife. So his wife sent us for this dude.
Okay.
And we go in there, and I start performing, and then the people next door came in and told us to like shush. And the man would not look at me. Like he was so embarrassed. I was looking at Carrie Lynn just like, cut the track. Can you just cut the track, please? I felt like he was like on his phone, like asking his wife for a divorce while I was performing because he was so embarrassed.
Yeah.
That was so awkward. I was like, I need to get out of here right now. And like all the administration was like, they were just like annoyed I was there.
Yeah.
You know?
Not in the school administration building.
Yeah.
Ooh. Because what I've seen online, not to get like too negative, but I have seen some people on Twitter talking about how people will book drag queens on Cameo as like a joke.
Ooh.
Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, so it'll be like a frat boy who is kind of homophobic probably to begin with, and he'll be like, oh, this is so funny to like book this drag queen for my friend, like haha, he's gonna like, you know, whatever. So that was kind of what I was fearing could be a negative consequence of opening that up to the public like that. But if that's the worst you've had, then that's
no. Carrie Lynn's very good about like making sure that
process.
Like making sure that the events that we're doing are right. Yeah, because I've driven out to like Bastrop, the middle of nowhere, Texas. I'm like, Carrie Lynn, I feel like I'm about to get hate crimed. Are you sure this is safe? And no, it's always been good. It's honestly kind of surprising where I've been, and people were like so happy to have me there, you know?
Yeah, I feel like I feel like most people, aside from the, you know, the frat situation I was just talking about, and that's obviously not every frat or frat boy or whatever, but I feel like a lot more people now, because of Drag Race and stuff, are so much more open to the idea and concept of drag.
Totally.
And so it's not very abnormal to see a drag queen out, and most people are positive reacting. Where can we book an extragram?
Extragram's ATX.com. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, it's cute.
Okay, so you're full-time drag queen. You have multiple shows per week. You also work for Extragrams. How long have you been doing drag now?
4 years.
4 years. So you would have been like 2018-ish?
Yes.
You got in right before the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. No, literally, it was like I had like a good year or so in drag, and right before I ended a drag competition right before the pandemic hit, and that's when I was like starting to get booked more and everything, and then it hit, and I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. But then Extragrams found me, and
you
everything's
did that
just taken off.
Pandemic. It's very lucky to find.
Yeah, no, very lucky. Yes.
Yeah, I was lucky to like have YouTube happen, you know, because I had done like maybe 9 or 10 live things before that. Like I can literally count them.
Yeah.
And then YouTube happened, and I was like, oh my God, this is keeping me so busy all the time. Like, I guess this is great.
Why I started drag?
Yeah.
I had wanted to do drag for a really long time before I started doing drag. I don't know. I think as soon as I found out that I could do drag as like an AFAB person, I wanted to, but life got kind of crazy. And whenever life settled, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to like focus on me a little bit rather than all this fucking bullshit, and do something that I've been wanting to do for a really long time. And then I went out and dragged the first time, and I had a really good experience, and I have so much fun doing this shit. I mean, drag is for everybody, and especially like women, and it doesn't matter your sexuality or your gender, your assigned gender at birth or anything. Like, it's just breaking down the social boundaries we have for like whatever fucking bullshit people want to assign to you, you know? Anybody should be able to explore themselves outside of that shit, you know?
Yeah. It's creative expression. I've never understood really the like, let's gatekeep this from anyone.
Yeah,
because
totally.
like, why? It's a very silly, you know, at its surface level art form with very real things that people of all walks of life can bring, you know, interesting things to the table. So
yes, absolutely.
So I was actually just asking Miss Bandit, what would be in her rider? Because back in the day, there was this rumor of that Valentina in her rider, which means like what would have been required for her to have in a dressing room for her to be performing there. And she had red M&Ms and champagne. And she never substantiated or disqualified that this was actually true or not. But what would you have in yours?
What would I have in mine? What would I want in the back? Okay, I mean, I guess going off the candy thing, like the sour candies. I love sour candies.
Like Sour Patch Kids?
Yeah, Sour Patch Kids would be great. And I also think that would be like a cute little like snack for like right before going on stage. Make sure your mouth is not dry, you know? That seems like a good little something to have in there. Also, yeah, I definitely need a beverage of some kind. I normally go with the gin or tequila. Maybe some perfume of some kind would be good because
just any kind.
Any kind of perfume.
Some, like, gas
no, it would be
kind
of be fun to see what they chose for me. I could just like judge the venue on, and then I could just have like a big thing of perfumes. I could just take them all home. I don't know. I always need something smelly in the back that smells good to take care of my smell.
Earlier, when you were talking about like your identity and how it relates to drag, you said the acronym AFAB.
Yes.
Could you tell everyone what that means to you and how you use it?
Yes. Okay. So AFAB means assigned female at birth. And so it's an acronym. And I use that term because I'm non-binary. So whenever you say non-binary, it doesn't really break that down in a way that saying like if you were a trans man or a trans woman, you kind of suggested in saying trans, whereas saying non-binary, you don't know from which they came or were or was assigned. And sometimes whenever we're talking about certain differences, we need that kind of language to talk about certain kind of experiences or whatnot.
Just real quick to clarify, are you comfortable with all pronouns or how do you prefer those?
Oh, pronouns, honestly, I'm okay with everything. In drag, I like to be called she, her, because I feel like when people they, them me in drag, they're kind of outing me for being AFAB. And I do my drag in a way that people think that I am a man whenever I'm in drag, you know, whenever I'm looking like a big, gorgeous woman. But I do wear the big fake and like I do it in a very extreme way where you can't see my own body really, you know.
Is it controversial to ask, how do you feel when somebody has that perception of you, when they think that's a man doing drag?
Oh, I think it's so funny. Like I think it goes to show that gender is all made up, you know, and drag is definitely playing with those things, that people would think that I'm a man whenever I'm dressed ultra feminine. You're just going to show that gender is a social construct and you're making assumptions based on what you know how people express themselves, right? You're thinking I'm a drag queen and that a drag queen has to be a male, you know? So it's so fun to do that with the haters. When they're sitting there, they're like, that's a man in a dress. I'm like, joke's on you, bitch. Joke's on you.
Wow. Yeah, the ultimate plot twist. I love it. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, I'm like, you're literally proving your own fucking bullshit wrong, you know?
Some people I feel like I've seen online that are younger kind of eschew all gendered pronouns, whereas people like you and I, like I'm okay with, like in drag I want like she, her, or they, them, that's fine, whatever you want to call me. Out of drag, I prefer he. If you want to use they, that's fine too. But I do feel like maybe there's an age difference thing where the younger generation is only they and the older generation is more comfortable with any pronoun, or they just kind of say they don't care.
Younger people, since they have been exposed to this kind of language shift younger, they probably are able to identify themselves a certain way earlier in their life than like I did. So like I've been okay with that because that's just been my entire life. Whereas, and I figured out what we started talking about pronouns like when I was like 25, you know, like 5 years ago or so. Whereas kids, you know, these days, they started talking about that shit whenever they started entering puberty or something like that, you know?
Space.
Like they get to define themselves at an earlier age than I got to based on the information that I had at the time and the information that they now have access to earlier, you know?
They have a world of knowledge at their fingertips.
That's my theory, I guess.
Yeah, no, I love hearing that perspective because I've never thought about it in the sense of the younger generation just literally has seen it way earlier. And, I think it does get harder as you get older to adapt to change.
Yes.
Because I feel like sometimes I've even seen an older or younger person having a discussion, maybe about something like this, where really they're on the same side of the fence. It's just like a generational divide between the use of language. Our generation doesn't care about labels as much. I feel. Not as much.
Yeah, I think labels can be helpful when they're helpful, but also you cannot limit your worldview based on labels. Yeah, you have to understand that things are able to shift and grow and adapt and evolve. Yeah, and I think queerness especially is one that you can't just like fit people in like fucking boxes or whatever, Yeah. As much as we have so many different labels for everything, ultimately being queerness extends beyond any of that.
We're a beautiful rainbow of different types.
Yes, exactly. Yes, yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, so do you mind if we shift into some pop culture for a second?
Okay.
I just pulled up a couple of things that I thought were interesting this week, or actually, first one really sad, that Leslie Jordan died. I just wanted to bring that up and just kind of have a little moment of respect for him. He was on Drag Race recently, and I'm sure that that's how a lot of the younger audience knows who he is at all. I originally saw him like on Will and Grace years ago.
Whenever Leslie Jordan died, I'm like, wow, I've seen this person everywhere, but I can't pinpoint where I've seen him. I know Drag Race. What was he on Will and Grace?
He was Beverly. He was just like the sassy gay neighbor, old gay character.
I mean, I have seen episodes of Will and Grace. I remember watching it with my mom. And
I remember I wasn't allowed to watch it for a while.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Because it originally aired, oh my God, when did this originally air? 98 to 2006.
Yeah.
I would have been 5 to 13. And I was probably closer to 13 when I would actually start watching it, and my mom wasn't really controlling my TV use. Because it was like the only thing that was gay back then.
What else was on then that was gay? A lot of Cartoon Network characters. I remember just watching cartoons. Crazy. There was also a set like Sex and the City had some gay characters on there.
They did. They were,
and that was about that time too.
Queer as Folk, I believe, was around that time period as well. And that was a big, one of the first gay things to hit mass TV distribution. There was like a handful of shows that you could watch, and to have one of them be gay was like, whoa,
Totally.
Or have a gay character, whatever.
Totally.
And nowadays,
Yeah.
I mean, Netflix has a new show every week.
It's everywhere, yeah. Yes.
I literally haven't even kept up with TV since when I watched Breaking Bad. Besides RuPaul's Drag Race. Do you watch any TV right now?
No, I don't really watch a lot of television. Sometimes, my sister will have the, really awful dating shows on Netflix. What's the one that she's been watching where they're, in the rooms and they talk to each other?
There's this one show, and it's this, they're
Love is
looking for a
Blind.
sugar
That's
daddy
what
or
it's
something?
called.
Is that what it is?
Oh, I don't know. They're okay, so it's these people and they're dating each other and then they decide to marry each other. I don't know. I never watched this, but it's one of those things that it's I'll be walking in my living room and I start to look a little bit at it, and then 5 episodes later I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What?
You
I
get
can't
sucked
believe he
in.
said that. Yeah, no. And that trash television is so good sometimes.
You
just
have
to zone out for
Yeah,
a little bit.
I have to avoid it sometimes because I will get sucked into other news that I just wanted to highlight. Kanye West was dropped from his Adidas deal.
Yeah, because of him saying fucking stupid bullshit and acting like he wasn't gonna get any repercussions because he is who he is. A delusion.
Do you think it's appropriate to have real life consequences such as this?
Yeah, I think absolutely. That is violent towards a certain group of people, and whenever you're spewing that kind of violence, it does create violence. You can see in LA them holding the signs over.
Yep.
It pulls people out of the woodwork that are then going to act on that kind of hate that he's being spread. So yes, absolutely. I think that that's incredibly necessary to make sure that people can't just be spreading that kind of ignorance without any kind of repercussions, because there are repercussions.
By the way, there were people that just said, it said something like Kanye was right about the Jews.
They were making
the
the Nazi sign. Very scary.
It is scary. And also terrible to find out that he holds those views. And I do agree with you. I think the actions were not only appropriate, but necessary. He lost his brand, Yeezy, as part of the deal. I don't know if he's going to get to keep that.
I don't know. I never kept up with his shoes and stuff, but they looked fucking crazy.
I think in the fashion world, I think his consequences will be more severe than, let's say, the Chick-fil-A thing.
Totally, yeah.
Years ago, like when marriage equality happened in the US, there was like this huge protest for people to go eat Chick-fil-A that were against it. Years prior to that, it had come out that Chick-fil-A was essentially like a, deeply held Christian business who had given money to charities that, allegedly supported conversion therapy or whatever kind of anti-gay rhetoric and such. It was like maybe in 2012 or something. But then 3 or 4 years later, they were like, go eat Chick-fil-A if you were protesting marriage equality today. Do you eat Chick-fil-A?
No.
I've eaten it.
Yeah. I mean, I have.
I mean, I could probably count the number of times I've eaten Chick-fil-A in the past, 5 years or whatever, but every time I see them now, I think about that.
Yeah,
you
totally.
know, and I'm like, do I really want that chicken biscuit?
Yeah.
Probably not.
I mean,
but sometimes I do, I'll be honest.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like it's like you go anywhere and you can find out wherever your money's going is like not where you actually want it to go, It's just like it's late stage capitalism. There is no ethical consumption under capitalism.
Yeah.
And especially at this point, we're so limited in our choices, Gosh.
Wow, the real topics here on the bus stop.
I know,
You
right?
thought this was going to be some lighthearted little talk about Drag Race.
I know. I'm like, we're getting into capitalism. Bridget's about to spiral.
UK Drag Race is happening. It's on the air.
Yes.
And you're watching a little bit?
I'm watching a little bit. So honestly, I've only watched it like at the end of my shows when I'm at my friend's house and we're like just sitting there chilling. And I'm like trying to like drink some water, take care of myself. And we put on Drag Race. And so either I'm like kind of drunk or I'm very tired or a little bit of both. So the last episode, I fell asleep halfway through. So I didn't get to see all the drama. But I kind of have an idea of who everybody is and what they're bringing to the table,
Got it.
Yeah.
So last episode, Baby chose to go home
Oh.
after the lip sync.
Oh. Okay.
So Baby was put into the bottom 2 with Dakota Schiffer, but the lip sync ended, and it was a good lip sync too. Like, it was high quality from both of them. They absolutely killed it. Everyone online, I think, was saying it should have been double Shantae, all this stuff.
Yeah.
But before RuPaul could say anything, Baby's like, I have to say something. I need to go home right now.
Oh my God. Well, why did she go home?
She had been talking that episode in Confessionals and the episode prior about how this show was affecting her mental health. And like just basically the struggle of not being able to perform on the show as the way that she sees herself capable of doing. And that mismatch was kind of, because she was landing in the bottom a couple different times. It was her third time in the bottom that episode. So I think that mismatch of expectation versus reality was really fucking with her. And she said, it's going to be better for me if I just leave because I need to take care of myself.
Damn. Well, hopefully it's not a decision that she regrets.
I can't imagine that, because I feel like, okay, of the exits of like people that have just left the show, Adore, Jenny Lemon. Do you remember Jenny Lemon?
Yes, I remember that.
And now Baby. I feel like Baby's was maybe the most esteemed.
Okay.
If I have to put a word on it.
Yeah.
Like it felt confident. It felt
good.
Like respectable.
Okay,
I guess
good.
is really the
it
word
wasn't
I'm
like
looking for.
in this like fury of like emotions and
No.
turmoil. Okay.
She was one of my picks for, I think, the final 3.
Yeah.
She's very dynamic, excellent performer, but it does make me wonder which Versus the World franchise they're going to invite her to next.
Yeah.
They didn't invite her back for the next UK season. They didn't say they did. They're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah, no, because they didn't invite Victoria back, but she's on Versus the World, which I'm so excited to see. Yes, but yeah, I saw that they didn't invite her back.
And then Cornbread didn't get an invite back.
Oh yeah,
hers was medical as well as Victoria's.
I don't do good with rejection. That's why I don't do drag pageants. At the end of the pageant, I'm always crying. I am not good at losing stuff, So I feel that.
This has been a great time.
This has been so much fun.
Yeah,
yes.
I really, really enjoyed having you here.
So my first time recording and then like a fancy little mic like this.
I want to add probably 2 more cameras. It's probably not going to be in this space.
Totally.
I'm going to have to get a different space
for
that. But I want to have the full podcast fantasy, but I appreciate you being here in the slightly smaller fantasy.
Well, thank you so much for having me be a part of this smaller fantasy. I like it. I'm going to steal all the wigs now.
Oh my God. Honestly.
See you later.
Thanks for being here. Bridget will be, her Instagram will be in the description.
Yes. Come to a show sometime if you're in Austin.
Yes.
Or come to Austin and come to one of my shows.
Thanks for watching, y'all.
Mwah. Bye.